That is the film that brought us a horror, Hysteria. Incredible movie. Head-spinning moment none of us will forget. 50 years since The Exorcist hit the cinemas. We're joined by someone who knows a thing or two about hunting spirits.
Yeah, on the surface, Reverend Jason Bray is your ordinary Anglican vicar, leading christenings, weddings and funerals. But for the last 27 years, he's also been hired to hunt down demons as a real-life exorcist.
And he's joining us now on the spookiest day of the year. Morning, Reverend.
Morning, Reverend.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us.
No, thanks for asking me on. I'm thrilled to be here. Wow.
Thanks for being part of this.
So,
Are you quite
only person
impressed?
not in costume, but brought the hats.
There we
yes,
go.
we like
You're
it.
in.
We
You should
like
wear that
it.
all the time, by the way. You look great.
I wear that quite a lot of the time.
So,
given half
talk
the
us
time.
through this. Your day job is working as a dean.
Yeah, so I'm the Dean of Llandaff Cathedral in Cardiff. So, sort of slightly weirdly, the cathedral in Cardiff is sort of at the edge of the city, and it's like sort of walking into a sort of medieval film set, really. You know, you sort of walk in and it's just different, and the cathedral's at the bottom of the hill, and it's a stunning place to go.
Yeah.
And so that's my day job, and basically I run it, and lots of meetings, lots of lots of meeting people, lots of meeting tourists as well. So we get a few of those, do some more.
Yeah.
And sort of lots of services as well. It's a cathedral, so we have a fantastic choir. They sing pretty much every evening, and then sort of lots of other things going on as well.
It's a busy job, right?
It's a really busy job.
It sounds incredible. So how did you fall into this? Did you have a moment with a particular spirit yourself?
Yeah, so when I was first ordained 27 years ago, we lived in a house that was, basically you get allocated a house.
Yeah.
So we saw the house first. It was in January, so it was cold and it was dark and it had been empty for a while. We thought it was just a cold, dark house. And it never got warm and it never really got light. So we moved in June, and it just stayed that way.
It didn't feel right.
Yeah, it just didn't feel right. In fact, it was really cold in some places. So a couple of months after we were there, our first son was born, Tom. And so, we got this sort of nursery for him, and his room seemed to be colder than any other.
Which is always more acute when it's a nursery, isn't it? You sort of notice it a bit more.
Yeah, you sort of notice it, and you think, well, is it because it's got two external walls?
Yeah.
Is it bled the radiators, turned the thermostat up? Nothing seemed to work. And it just stayed that way. And, in fact, it seemed to sort of get worse. Okay, went into the winter and then came out of the winter, thought it'll just warm up in the summer, and it didn't. And then two things happened. So I went off on a course for a couple of days, and I came back, my wife, Laura, really not impressionable at all. And she said, there's something really odd about this house. She said, because, it's cold in Tom's room. She said, well, it was so cold when I went to, when I went into the room because he was crying, it was like walking into a freezer. She said it was that cold. Not making it up, she said I had to have him in bed with me, and I think there's something really odd about this house. And then I had a sort of weird experience myself.
Yeah.
So I was reading in bed, went to the toilet, and sort of came out the bathroom door, and I didn't see anything, to be honest, but there was like this sort of impression of somebody standing on the other side of the door, about my height, grey eyes, and with like a sort of mask on, a bit like most of the people around here today. But with this sort of big, big wooden mask. And was just sort of staring at me with unbridled hostility through the door.
Wow.
What on earth is going on? So, just sort of plucked up the courage and opened the bathroom door. Nothing there. Threw myself under the duvet, and Laura said, "Well, are you all right? You look like you've seen a ghost." I said, "Well, I haven't seen anything, but." So she said, "Well, get your boss in." So my boss, the vicar, came round and he splashed holy water around the place. He said a couple of prayers. We said the Lord's Prayer together. And the house sort of just returned to the way it should have been. It sort of lifted it, and it was sort of warm, and it was comfortable, and it was a nice place to be. A couple of things happened afterwards. I had a conversation with somebody who said when they were building the house, they disturbed a Roman graveyard.
Right, okay.
And so...
I bet that must have been a nice, relaxing chat for you.
Yeah, so, the house was all right by then. And that's how I got into it.
So when you... It's going to sound weird, because you're a man of the cloth, so therefore... there is a leap of faith involved in everything that you talk about and everything,
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, when you're telling your fellow kind of lay preachers and clergymen and so forth, is there scepticism from them?
Yeah, some of them Yeah, some of them don't really believe in it.
Yeah.
Some of them think it's a whole load of rubbish. Some of them don't want to go anywhere near it at all for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So every time we get called out, we speak to the local vicar, and you just get this sort of, oh, no, you deal with it. Don't want don't want to go anywhere near this.
So
Thank
what
you very much.
happens? And so in terms of the training, what happens? We haven't got that long, but what happens and what the tools of the trade?
Right,
Can you
okay.
show us?
Right, tools of the trade. Okay,
It's
so
like a little doctor, isn't it? Look at this.
doctor, yeah, hey. So I've got various bits and pieces. That is a stole that I wear around my neck.
Yes.
When I'm doing these things.
So you'll go into someone's house.
Go into somebody's house.
You'll put that
and,
on.
Yeah, we have a conversation. Try to work out what's going on.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it can be, it can be them. Sometimes it can be because there's, for want of a better word, a sort of ghost or a presence or something like that. Sometimes it can be because, they've got some sort of condition or they're on medication that makes them see things or whatever. But we always have a conversation. And then I usually bless the house. So I've got this spectacular thing. It's a holy water sprinkler. Basically...
sprinkle that around?
Yeah, so...
you bless that yourself?
Yeah, bless that myself.
Yeah, bless the studio if you want.
Go on.
Go on. I don't... Oh, can you not just do
Too many
like that?
spirits here to exercise.
Too many spirits here to exercise.
Don't say
that. So I've got a holy water bottle, so I sort of carry that with me and then bless it at the time. So there's that. That's really important. And then if there's, maybe on the second visit, if you have to go back and it hasn't settled, we celebrate the Eucharist, communion, mass, whatever you want.
Do the whole thing.
Yeah.
So all the bells and spells.
So with the not necessarily. But,
do you know what? I'd like to do this when I'm moving into any house. Do you know what I mean? I think it'd be a good thing to
actually,
do
we
just
do
to move
get
into
it.
the house.
Actually, we do that. Yeah, we do that sometimes. So sometimes people will say, actually, just moving into a new house.
Just want to make sure
wipe the
everything's
slate
all right.
clean kind of thing.
Yeah, it's just, it's a nice thing to do, actually.
It really is.
So, and, from a Christian priest point of view, what we're doing is sort of bringing the love of God into that situation, wherever it is.
Right, and I guess even if, like you said, some people are ill and some people have, the medication, it just gives people a bit of calm and a bit of kind of serenity, I suppose.
Yeah, and, you could say that a lot of what we do is actually bringing reassurance.
Yeah.
So people are always frightened. When they get in touch with us, they're always frightened and they're always we just sort of say, actually, we're here to help.
But Chase, before we let you go, you've never seen The Exorcist?
I've never seen... No, I've still never seen The Exorcist.
It's such a good film.
It's too frightening. I'm not into horror films at all.
No, I'm not into horror films at all. My son has watched them all and he's the expert.
No, don't watch it.
No, still never seen The Exorcist.
Well, you wear the hat well anyway, so...
Yeah.
Thank you, Reverend.
Reverend, thank you so much for joining us today.
No,
really appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure.
And please do bless the studio later.
Yeah, feel free to play. Hi, everyone. Just wanted to say thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. Now, listen, we upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning.
And Sabrina joins us now. Morning, Sabrina.
Good morning.
This story, Sabrina, is incredible. So first things first, tell us about this new documentary, Prince William, Weekend End Homelessness, and how you got involved in it.
Oh, do you know, I'm so excited about this. The documentary focuses on the first year of his new programme, Homewards. And the aim of Homewards is to try to make homelessness brief, rare and unrepeated. And I was approached by the Prince's team to become an advocate. And the point about being an advocate is he wanted people with lived experience of homelessness to help to advise him. And I experienced homelessness when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
And as part of this, we were set a task and he asked us to go out and try and find solutions, things that are out there that work to help to end homelessness. And so in the documentary, I go and I meet a couple of people and a couple of projects that have been really, really working well, and I'm able to take them then to the Prince so that he can see for himself what's out there that works.
Work on the ground, yeah.
Sabrina, you are the advisor to the future king. What is that like working with him? What's he like to work with?
Oh, he's amazing, and I'm one of several advocates, and we've all got our own experience of homelessness or be touched by homelessness in some way. And one of the things that he was really keen on is making sure that he's listening to people who've been there so that we can try and do things that are really practical. And every time I've met the Prince, he has been so focused on the human impact of homelessness. And I think it's really easy when you're trying to do a programme as big as this and a challenge as big as ending homelessness to just focus on the strategy and forget about the people.
Yeah.
But he's so focused on the trauma and the complexity and the impact on individuals. And that, for me, has been a real privilege to be able to see that in action.
It is interesting, isn't it? Because I worked with him on Earthshot, and it's both hard to not drink the Kool-Aid, but really important not to drink the Kool-Aid. Because actually, it's easy for us to go, well, he's just a big privileged guy sat in a palace, right? And part of that is true. But what impressed me about him was that, like, he's aware of that privilege, and he doesn't mind getting his hands dirty, and you know, he's aware of the kind of the double standard and all of this, but at the same time, he wants to do something about it and use his voice for it.
Yeah, and what would you rather?
Right.
As a monarch, he's using his platform to convene people, to challenge a social problem. That's amazing. I'm really, really proud to be able to say that we can be a part of that.
Can we rewind a little bit to the age of 15? I know your daughter's the same age right now.
Frighteningly,
She's 15.
yeah.
And you've given her such an incredible life that she hasn't gone through the life that you had to lead. Take me back to when you was 15. I know you'd sadly your father passed away when you were a lot younger.
Yeah.
What were the circumstances that led to you becoming homeless?
It's circumstances that many people, I'm sure, will recognise. I grew up in a single-parent household. We lived in poverty, and my mum really struggled with her mental health. And one thing I always say is that if someone goes to war with their demons, it's everyone around them that gets hit by the shrapnel. And that was absolutely the case for us. And by the time I was 15, nearly 16, to be honest, it was too much. It was too volatile. It was too hard. And I ended up sleeping rough on the streets of Newport, which, of course, is one of the homewards areas that the programme focuses on. It was really hard. I would sleep in shop doorways. I'd sleep in derelict buildings, anywhere where I could find, really. And in truth, there were glimpses of kindness from people, but I've been punched and kicked and spat at.
Really?
The cruelest of things. It was really, really difficult. But one of the things for me that's really exciting about Homewards, and we touch on it in the documentary, some of the people that looked after me the most and gave me the most compassion at that time were a demographic that people would recognise as an entrenched rough sleeper, usually an older guy, 50s, 60s maybe, and it's the kind of person that might have been rough sleeping for ages that everyone's kind of written off. People would cross the road to avoid them, but they really, really helped me. And in the documentary, we're able to touch on that and look at programmes that focus on those entrenched rough sleepers.
That's unbelievable.
How did you turn it round? Because you were still at school, so you were literally hiding your backpack, going to sleep, going to school, coming back, sleeping in wherever you could sleep.
Studying as well.
Yeah. And then you got a job selling Big Issue, which is obviously an incredible institution, magazine. And then did that give you the foothold to be able to get yourself out of that?
Yeah, it did. I was terrified of going into care. We had a social worker, and when you grow up in an environment like that, you kind of see any kind of authority through a lens of mistrust.
Yeah.
I thought it would be like some kind of Dickensian workhouse, and I wanted to avoid it. So I carried on going to school and tried to pretend that everything was okay. Selling the Big Issue was a real turning point for me, though, because I don't know if people know, but when you see people selling the Big Issue, they've already bought those magazines. So it's like you buy in your stock and you sell it on for a profit. And that, for me, gave me an ability to try to earn something. And eventually, I was able to put down a deposit on a very cheap rented flat in the South Wales Valleys, away from where I was. I had a couple of false starts, including a bit of time living in a van. It's not as easy as just having a roof over your head. There is a real recovery from homelessness, and it wraps up your sense of identity. You don't know who to trust. You have had such difficult experiences that you take that on board as part of your lens and how you see yourself. And unpacking that is really tricky. I mean, it took me nearly 20 years to start talking about my experience. There's that stigma. And I hope that some of the work that we can do with Homewards can reframe the narrative around homelessness. So hopefully we can break down that stigma and the recovery from homelessness won't be so difficult for other people.
Why did you struggle to talk about it? Was it the shame of being homeless? Is that the reason? Because I know you wrote a book, didn't you?
I did, yeah. And being really kind of open about that was important to me because it's something that I'd hidden for so long.
Yeah.
But I think I was afraid that people would judge me, and God forbid I was afraid people might pity me, which was even worse than the judgment. But, you know, it's exhausting hiding a really big part of yourself. As, you know, many people have done with other factors of their lives. It's really difficult. So, you know, people would kind of ask questions about growing up and I'd kind of, you know, just shelve it off and change the subject. But I always felt that kind of sicky feeling in the pit of my stomach. And one of the things that I heard, which is so true, is poverty isn't something that you can wash from your skin. It's really not. And it's something that you carry with you. So when I joined the fire service, and there are, you know, all these kind of amazing people who kind of always knew what to do and say, I always felt less than. So it was quite a tough environment to go into when you have something that makes you feel so vulnerable. But you know, since opening up about it, there are a number of firefighters who've got in touch with me to say that they've experienced homelessness as well. And they're now in the fire service, no one would know. And I promise you, there are more people out there who've been touched by homelessness in some way than we give each other credit for. And I do think it's time to start talking about it.
Sabrina, what would a future without homelessness look like? How, I mean, you know, I was reading the notes, you touched on the Finnish model a little bit, and what they're doing in Finland. So can you explain what would you do if you were given a carte blanche?
Yeah, and I think it's going to be different in different locations. And that's the point with Homewards, is we've got a number of target locations so that we can look at what works. But for me, what I've seen working in the sector, the most beneficial is a real individual, tailored approach. It's really difficult with a finite amount of resources out there to be able to make sure that you're getting the resources in the right places to do the right things. And like I said, it's not as simple as just a roof over your head. There are so many complexities around recovering from homelessness. And one of the things that we did find that worked really well, that I could imagine that kind of approach really helping to unpack this problem, was Housing First. And the point about that is they put someone in a house first, and you are allowed to fail.
Yeah.
People can fail if they have a drug habit. In other schemes, if you fall and you end up going back on drugs, then you're kind of out of the programme, or you might lose your housing. With Housing First, they say, no, this is your secure base first, and they wrap that support around the individual for everything that they might need, helping them to get registered with a doctor again. Absolutely, everything that you might need. And just that permission to fail and that support to know that you're going to get back up again and there's going to be someone there, that for me is a real kind of pinnacle of what success could look like.
Well, you're the pinnacle of success as far as I'm concerned. Thank you so much for joining us. You're an absolute inspiration.
What do you want people to take from this when they watch this doc? So, you know, you've had this incredible experience. So people that haven't, most people haven't, they'll be watching at home. What do you want them to take from it?
I really want them to see homelessness as an experience and not as an identity.
Yeah.
And I really think that will help us to break down some of the stigma around it.
Yeah.
But please see the value in people. It's so easy to write someone off because it looks like they're stuck in that life and it's too entrenched and someone's too far gone. Nobody's too far gone. Everybody has value.
Yeah.
So I hope they just think about it differently.
And it can happen to anybody.
It really can.
Sabrina, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning. It's been enough to tame the two Yorkshire pudding monsters who have risen from their plates at the Saxon King pub in Southend. We are about to find out.
Here we go.
They played them all.
Hey.
It was a great
Okay, guys. Hi there. Can you see? Yeah. Let me bring you round. Hey, darling. Oh, you're very greasy, aren't you? Come over here.
Greasy and sweet.
There you go, darling. There's a little seat there if you want to sit down. You can take your masks off. Are you okay? Take your masks off.
Guys, looking good.
Oh, wonderful.
Hey.
Oh,
It's
my goodness.
Babylando, James Pally and his son Aaron. Hey, guys. Well done, lads.
Thank you so much for doing that. Look at this, so much work has gone into this. How long does it take to make these outfits then, James? How long would it take?
Hours.
Really?
When did you start doing it, James?
Well, started off, God, what would it be, 4 o'clock Saturday morning.
Oh, as in for this iteration, it's 4 o'clock.
Yeah, but we had a bit of an issue last night because we put the last bits out to dry and the foxes got them.
Oh, you're
Fox is
joking.
gone.
So these are still a bit sticky and not quite set.
So I see on your
Can I just say,
Fox is having a field day.
You've literally left a
Oh, we've left
trail,
the trail.
of Yorkshire pudding.
It's Hansel and Gretel.
Right behind
It's
you.
Hansel and Gretel.
We need to get the foxes in here.
Yeah.
So where did the idea come from? Where was the origins of your Yorkshire pudding?
Oh, 10 years ago, Aaron's older brother, we had loads left over one day. So we'd always sort of joked about he'd be running around with a cape on. So we said, oh, we'll turn it into a superhero.
Oh, that's so nice.
So we did.
How much fun do you have doing this?
It's a lot of fun, but it's also a lot of work. But it's like cool to like dress up in all of it and.
Is it quite hot in there as well?
No, it's actually quite cold.
Is it?
It's really cold.
His body's going into shock. There's so much sugar on him.
So once you've made it, how long does it roughly, can it last for?
It's coated with lacquer and PVA and glued on with gummy bears.
So
Half one last night, I'm driving around
Really?
Essex buying up as many gummy bears as we have to find
you
just to
can.
redo it after the fox has got.
That's
So
brilliant.
are you going to use this for Halloween then?
Yeah.
Oh,
This outfit?
1 million.
It's going to get
1 million.
tucked
Is that
back
what you
up.
do every year? Is that what
Yeah.
it's for? It's a Halloween thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah,
nice.
the costume.
So how does it go down in the pub? Do the regulars love it?
It's everybody. We had a message from Sweden from a girl that went to America with years ago when I came to America, and it's gone to Sweden, and she said that her daughter wants to dress up as a pudding at Halloween. Thanks very much.
What's the best thing? Do you like Yorkshire puddings, Aaron?
I love Yorkshire
I
puddings.
do as well. Are you up for trying some of our Yorkshire puddings here?
Yes. They look
Because-
scrumptious.
Pretty
So
cool.
I've
Just-
made one set of Yorkshire puddings, and so has Dermot. And you are actually judging these on... What are you judging them on?
You're judging them on taste,
texture,
and rise, I think.
and rise. So have a little bit of a taste as you're sitting here. We'll carry on talking to you. But why? Should we put your head down?
Okay, yeah.
All right, let's
I'll
put
put
your,
it on the floor.
put your head down on the
Sure,
floor.
yeah.
There you go.
Thanks, guys.
There you go.
guys.
Have a little taste and
like a Yorkshire
just
pudding?
Pass
decide
me one
which
over.
one.
Like,
You need one of each.
One of each.
So there's that one and that one.
Oh.
There you go.
There you go.
And you
So
get
let's
involved.
look at. So you're judging them on taste,
Rise.
texture. So rise first.
I probably this
Right,
one's more.
that one.
Oh no, it's not much rising going on there.
Oh,
So
which one did you? Where's the other one?
Catastrophe. Oh, it's there. I
Yeah,
couldn't
this one you need.
reach
This
it.
one.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
one are you going to go for? Rise.
This one.
far
yeah.
one.
Okay, that's
Oh yeah,
mine, isn't it?
interesting. Yeah.
Okay, then
That's
texture.
Dermot's.
Especially you have to break them up to
This
texture.
one.
They're very doughy.
Oh
This
God.
one's softer though. I like this one.
Texture.
That one.
Oh,
That
Dermot's like you've won on texturing.
Yeah.
But here's
Rise.
the test.
Say
Here's the
this
test, though.
one.
Taste.
It's all about the taste, though, isn't it?
Taste.
Doughy.
Go on, taste mine first. Yeah, have a taste. Do you want some salt? Put a
A
little
lot
bit
of
of
fat
salt.
is falling off you as we go.
Oh yeah. Bit of dripping
bit of
coming
salt.
through. Beef dripping in there.
Yeah, a bit.
Yeah, a bit of beef
Yeah.
dripping. Okay.
Get this one in.
What about Dermot's? What's he like? Have a little try of Dermot's. Don't you like mine?
Just stick these on.
Is it no good? Is it not? No. I think he's choking on my
With
one.
yours.
I don't think he likes
Got
mine.
no moisture left in my mouth after eating that.
No good. I think who's won? Is it Dermot or Alison? Oh, Dermot, you've
I
won.
say Alison.
Take the bow. Absolutely. Oh, you've got a trophy. I'm so jealous. What would you like to say?
Well, I'd like to thank the boys first and foremost. But I love the fact you're still eating it. That's so impressive.
I like Alison.
But turn it up. I know you've got a big week ahead of you. But
They're
so
TikTok stars now.
we're dedicating this to you.
Oh.
That is where this has come from, right? You put this on TikTok. What happened?
It just went crazy. My long-suffering wife said, pop it on. I apologise, darling, for the hassle that these Yorkshires have been for the last few weeks. We literally popped it on with my 22 followers.
Right.
I'd
Yeah.
only got it to see the rubbish that they sent me. And it went crazy. It went crazy. By the end of the next day, it was on 100,000. It's gone 3
Did
million.
someone pick it up and repost it or something? Like,
Yeah, thousands and thousands and thousands
And then
of them.
supermarkets and brands
Yeah,
got in touch
yeah,
as well.
yeah.
So what's happening? Is your life just taking off?
It's just crazy.
Well, that means you have to be in this outfit all the time. And can I just say, Aaron has eaten all of my Yorkshire pudding, even though I didn't win.
is it in all of? Is it eating all of everyone's Yorkshire puddings?
Oh, he's putting your one on the
Put yours
side.
down.
Thank you, Aaron.
Just
Brilliant.
stick these on
Well
the
done.
costume on way out.
But you're not sick of Yorkshire puddings, then? You still eat
never
them
be sick of
on your
Yorkshire
roast
pudding.
dinner and
Yeah.
everything. Oh,
Thank
Never
you,
be sick
James.
of it.
Thank you, James.
Now
Thank you,
go
Aaron.
and get out of this.
You can go and get out your outfit. Thank you so
Well done,
much.
boys.
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning.
For all of that, charities and organisations are becoming increasingly worried about the occurrence of what's called will fraud.
Will fraud is where someone attempts to deceive and manipulate you to gain control over your savings and assets after you die. It often goes undetected and can be committed by those closest to you.
So when Rebecca Creed lost her auntie, her family were confused when the will's executive failed to get in touch. And their suspicions led them to discover Rebecca's aunt and uncle had been the target of a fraudster who scammed the family out of the £350,000 inheritance.
And Rebecca joins us now alongside solicitor Paul Britton. Welcome
Morning.
to both of you.
Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for sharing this story, first of all. Rebecca, tell us a little bit about your uncle and auntie, first of all. Kathleen and Desmond, tell us about them.
Yes, they were a lovely married couple living in Cornwall. Their family was everything to them. and they lived for each other.
Aw.
They lived independently up until Auntie went into residential care, looked after extremely well. And like I say, the family meant everything to them. So in my younger years, we saw them at Christmases and family gatherings, and my gran and elderly aunts lived in one particular street, a row of houses, and then me and my cousins, we would probably often see each other meet at Gran's, and then my auntie and uncle, who didn't have a car, would bus in.
Yeah.
And then there's like, you know, with the chats, and then as we grew older, we'd see them less frequently as, you know, we grew up and we had all our families, and but we still kept in touch, and Mum and Dad would be on the phone to them as needed, and every checking in and find out what was going on, and you know, regularly.
I mean, I think that sounds like quite a typical relationship and upbringing. You know, you're so close with your aunties, uncles, and then as everyone gets older, you kind of go, but you still do that.
Oh, we care.
Right, that fondness is still there.
Yes.
But obviously, then there's a kind of a disconnect, isn't there? So because you want to be looking after them. So firstly, did they ever discuss their will at all with you guys?
No, but they discussed. I remember being at home on maternity leave, and my mum had said Uncle Desmond's rung 2:15, so Thomas would have been about what. And it stuck in my mind because she said, "Oh, they just want your current address," and because I'd got married and changed address, they wanted all our details to make sure that they had the address. So we didn't know, we didn't ask any questions because we're not.
Why would you? Yeah.
Well, we're not like that.
And was that to be executors on the will?
No.
It was just literally they
It was
needed
just
your
they wanted
address.
to up the address. So Mum and Dad assumed that they were checking out addresses and they were doing some kind of bequest of some kind on the will.
OK, so let's bring the story up to date. So who was John? When did you hear of him? And then when were your suspicions alerted with John?
Mr. Harris was referred to, I think, Mum and Dad, you know, who'd say, "Oh, how is Auntie Kathleen? Oh, John's doing this for them, that for them, whatever, helping them out or taking them to an appointment, whatever."
You didn't know who this John was?
No, but, like, Mum and Dad had checked out and gone to the solicitor.
Sure.
Because my dad's an ex-legal executive. He's now of ill health, hence why my mum had to sort of deal with the action fraud and subsequent conversations.
Yes.
He was somebody that was spoken of as in a positive way.
Yeah.
A friend. And then I remember seeing my uncle when he was ill at the local hospital, because I lived where he was in a hospital, and Mum and Dad went, Mum went with me, and I remember Uncle Desmond saying, this is when Auntie was still alive, and Uncle Desmond, we went to the hospital, and he said, "Oh, John's doing that for me." So, you know, we didn't think anything was amiss.
I mean, that's quite a common occurrence, isn't it?
And it was
make
done
a
legally.
friend with a neighbour or someone like that, and then, you know, that's...
Well, I think subsequently we found out that the friendship wasn't quite as we thought it was, obviously, but we didn't realise that he'd made their acquaintance on a bus. There was lots of things that came out through the court case, so it was just quite harrowing.
And then you found all that out?
It was quite harrowing to listen to.
Sadly, Desmond did pass away.
Yes, he did.
At what point did you think, oh, something's not right here?
Well,
something's not adding up?
Alan Tucker, which I can give him a nod, bless him, he's passed away. He was the dear cousin and an executor on the legal will in 2015. He was in Southampton, and which we now know is the fake will, he knew that it wasn't a genuine will because it was like 95% to Mr. Harris and 5% to Alan Tucker. Alan knew that was wrong. And he, quite emotional really, because he reached out through a solicitor to try and challenge that.
Yeah.
And sadly, he never got anywhere. And then he made contact with my parents, and they all grew up in the same village, you know, back in Cornwall, you know, small little village. They all got together. So they contacted each other on these 70-year-olds on Facebook.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until 6 months after my auntie had died that Mum and Dad got involved, because they were sort of alerted to the fact that they were expecting some conversation. So they reached out to their solicitor, Ben Sidgwick at Codes, and he noticed on the piece of paper that the will pack that you can buy from W.H. Smith had a different date on the back, a later date than the supposed signature that my auntie was supposed, which has now been proved that that was not her signature.
So,
And there was 2 drug addicts that witnessed this.
Oh my
right.
goodness.
So let's bring Paul. I mean, just to sort of to summarise here. So that he imitated their handwriting to forge new wills, giving him the majority of the estate. He paid 2 vulnerable local men to witness the documents, paying them small amounts of cash, and made changes that passed on £85,000 directly to him. The investigation also found that he'd been taking advantage of his access to the bank accounts. Where do we start with this? How do you combat this kind of thing?
Look, it is difficult. What we're seeing here is, in Rebecca's case, that the will... It's right that testators or testatrix update their will, and they quite often do. But there's usually about 10 or 20 years between a will that they do in their 60s, 70s, 80s, and then they're like, right, actually, it dawns on them. Life has moved on, things has changed.
Yeah.
It's time to update it. Rebecca was called in 2015 for her address. That's when the genuine will was done. Now, between then and 2018, there was a material change. It went from the family getting 75% to nothing, wiped out. And this guy was getting 25%. How can you identify it? The type of people that you've got to look for in society are those who are vulnerable. But what does vulnerable look like? If they're on their own and they haven't got family visiting them, this is actually there are very rare facets to this case, to Rebecca's case. They did see their family, but quite often what you find is it's really an individual who isn't visited, doesn't have many friends. So we always say what you've got to do is you've got to check in on people at regular periods. If you're a neighbour, be neighbourly, think community. I don't mean do it every day or every week. Don't be intrusive. But at least 3 monthly, every half year, just knock on the door, see if they need anything, any help. That's one of the main things that you can do. Assist them if they need some assistance, for example, going to do their will, provide that assistance. What you can't do is, if you get a list of solicitors, you don't go with them. You can drop them off, don't go in. There can't be any undue influence or manipulation. Leave something to me.
Just really briefly, in terms of people with their own will, what's the one piece of advice you'd give them? Would it be to pick your power of attorney or pick your executors, like people you've known all your life? Or, I mean...
So let's just distinguish those. So you've got a power of attorney, that's in life. So you pick someone to deal with your affairs in life. When you pass, the power of attorney has no power. We then look to your will to see who you've named as your executors. So one's during life, one's after. Quite often they're the same. If you're doing a power of attorney, it's sensible to have a solicitor as a backup attorney. And if you're doing your will and you're naming executors, it's also sensible to have a solicitor as a backup executor as well.
We have run out of time.
OK.
Good for this man is actually in prison now.
Yes.
He's locked away.
Yes.
I hope that you and your family can get some recompense for everything, and you will get that money back eventually. I really do, Rebecca.
It's to their estate and their memory that we want this restored to what their wishes.
I agree.
Thank
I
you.
agree. Thank you for joining us and telling your story.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Just wanted to say thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. Now, listen, we upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning. Oh, I always get emotional on things like that.
We do. 3 of the top proposal team join us now. Lily, Henry and Annette. Morning, everyone.
Good morning. This is great, isn't it? You've literally turned your jobs into a TV show. We was watching it last night. It was so good, wasn't it? Will You Marry Me? And it basically follows lots of different stories, doesn't it? Lily, tell us a little bit about it.
So it follows basically the lives of what we do and what we love. We got 9 proposals of people, and it's so different. It's one extreme to the next. And it made us realise there is literally not a standard way to propose.
No, there isn't.
Some of the things I get asked, I'm like, really?
Give us some of those things. What do you get asked?
Like, we get asked... I got one who was obsessed. Their first date was at an ice cream parlour. I was like, cute, that's really sweet, stunning.
To work with.
I love ice cream.
Yeah, fine. We couldn't... No, he wanted the ring in the ice cream.
Oh, in the ice cream?
Dug in.
Oh, no.
Is that a blatant health and safety no?
I said I don't think health and regulation's going to stand for that, but she loved it afterwards. Like, put it on her finger, and I was like...
Did she?
I don't know how...
But it was freezing cold, weren't it?
It's a bit sticky.
A bit sticky,
It's a bit sticky.
And you've had a proposal for a footballer, Lily?
Yeah, we've done quite a few footballers. We had one that gave us 4 hours' notice.
No.
What?
Yeah, yeah.
Can you tell us who gave you 4 hours' notice?
Diego Dallet.
All right, Diego.
What's going on, Diego? Bit of forward planning, please.
Well,
I want to do it now.
Yeah, there was forward planning. It was going to be, so he was coming down to London and it was going to be in like the day after he had reached us, and we was like, that's fine, like, sort it, leave it with us almost. And then he just texted us, didn't he, like, what about tonight? Like, I'm here, what? And we was like, okay. I'm obviously not going to say no.
And he had the ring on him and everything.
Yeah, when he had texted us, he was already on the train down.
Did you guys do Aaron Ramsdale's proposal?
Yeah.
I'm an Arsenal fan. We love Aaron.
I did. It was one of my first proposals I'd done like when I started working.
You get all the footballers, don't you?
I
feel like you literally did it all.
To the Lily. Lily.
You just get on with it.
How do you get into this industry? 'Cause
Yeah.
It's quite a unique industry it's quite niche, right?
Yeah.
So, and how did you get into it?
Well, I like to say I manifested the job. I heard about the proposers on TV 10 years ago, and since then I've done all sorts of different things. I baked cupcakes and I was a travel agent for a while, et cetera, et cetera. But when I got married, I thought it was time to go into event planning, and I remembered the proposers, so I reached out to Daisy, our founder, and the rest is history.
What was your proposal like when you got married? Is it a goodie? Or was it a bit dry?
I love this story.
Go on, Anna.
He did well.
He did?
He did well. He took me to a Michelin star restaurant, and after that, he had our hotel bedroom decorated and everything, and it was very cute. And he wrote a speech that was just so lovely, so we were both on the floor crying.
That's so lovely.
Yeah, he's amazing.
One of the proposals that you organised in that was actually in Santorini, wasn't it? And it involved a bit of a workout. Tell us about that.
So I do a lot of the destination proposals, and we get to travel pretty much everywhere on the job.
Yeah.
So wherever a client wants us to help him to pop the question, we are there. The Santorini proposal was definitely one of my favorite. It involved, the day started essentially with a workout on the beach. And then as they ran on the beach, they ran into a picnic setup that we created for them. They had a picnic, then horses came in.
Stop it.
The horses were a bit wild, but they still enjoyed their ride, and we had little signs.
Beautiful, look at this.
I've got two questions. If you're involved in the destinations ones, in many ways, it looks glamorous and wonderful, but that must be harder because when you're local, you've got your set teams and people you know you can work with and people you can rely on. Well, when you travel far away, these are, I'm sure they're brilliant, but they're not necessarily, you don't know whether you can rely on that caterer or, because you don't have that
Quite
relationship with them.
stressful.
That must be quite
Yeah, I like
and
to
you'd be really hot.
Yeah.
really hot. Oh my God, that destination Santorini one. I mean, we were on the beach in the middle of the night setting up, and it was just sweat all over.
My second question is, I only just thought about this watching that, is how do you tell the person that's being proposed to that they're being filmed without them knowing they're going to be proposed
Yes,
to?
that's a good question.
Well, on the TV show, we came up with a bunch of ruses.
Yeah.
So from Kylie's proposal, which I loved her reaction, we told her that it's just an engagement party and the couple really wants to have different bits filmed beforehand. So then she got the shock of her life when it was for her. And for the Santorini one, she just thought it was the longest, best date ever because it started in the morning and it ended in a winery in Santorini, and we did hundreds and flowers, a mirror aisle, everything. So she just assumed...
So they just think there were cameras...
Yeah,
like,
for this
doing a show?
incredible day or...
And Henry, you organised a fake proposal, didn't you?
I did, yeah. That was when I just started, actually, 3 years ago now, for the DJ, Tom Zanetti.
Oh, all right.
So, not quite what I expected, but you were really chilled about it, weren't you? And then as soon as I found out, I was like, I'm doing this one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, took it straight out of Anat's hands, and,
But
yeah,
it's still like it's a real proposal, isn't it?
Yes, it was for one of his music videos, so we literally set it up the same way as we do any other proposal, treated him like any other client. He got down on one knee, and, yeah, you wouldn't have really known it was any different other than the fact that him and the girl weren't together. So.
How'd you get into it, Henry? What's your background?
How did I get into it? So, yeah, I sort of fell into it, really, about 3 years ago now, just before Christmas. I saw an ad on Instagram. Originally, it was only for 4 weeks leading up to Christmas, which is one of the busiest times of the year, so we're just going into that part of the year now. And, yeah, just carried it on, absolutely loved it. Daisy, our founder, yeah, we got on really well, and she was like, do you want to sort of stay on the books? And
nice. The lovely thing for Henry, like, just reading in the brief, it says it's really brought you out of yourself, because you've got to be quite an extrovert to do this, I suppose,
Yeah,
right?
and I never used to be. Like, if you'd have known me 10 years ago, this coming on a show like this today would have been my absolute worst nightmare. I would have come up with any excuse possible.
And now you're loving it.
And, yeah, I've done about 130 proposals to date now. And yeah, you just have to get on with it. Like, it really brought me out of my shell. It allowed me to open up about my sexuality a few years ago as well, which was quite a big moment for me, as you can imagine. And yeah, so many things have happened throughout this 3-year period.
What has been the weirdest proposal that you've ever had, or the most expensive? Yeah. I want it all the juice.
She wants it all.
Expensive. There's quite a few, isn't there?
So the most expensive proposal we've done was just under £1 million.
Are you actually joking?
He's still drinking.
It's mad, isn't it?
What, they didn't say it for the wedding? That's
He
£1 million
wanted to
just for the
go.
proposal.
Imagine how much the wedding cost then.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what did that involve?
Well, the initial brief was to get their faces beamed on the Eiffel Tower. We made all the phone calls. We couldn't quite do that. So we ended up doing a beautiful after-hours show in Disneyland, and their faces were beamed there.
Wow.
And then it took them to a bunch of different places around the world, ending in Niagara Falls, where their faces were, of course, beamed there too.
You got 100.
Unbelievable.
That's insane. You got 100% success rate. Do you ever tell people no? Like, do you ever go, like, you shouldn't be wasting money like this? Or do you go, I mean, you can't, right? This is your business. So.
No, they were like,
have we ever said
spend
no?
£1 million. We take a little cut.
It's have you ever actually said no to anyone? I don't know.
No, I'd feel awful. I could never.
I mean, like you said, we've got 100% yes rating,
Yeah.
so we've clearly done the job right every single time. But
Well, that's my thing. I think if they're at the point where they're coming to us, you've got to know your partner.
You'd hope.
Yeah, to be fair, yeah.
Lily, Henry and Nat, thank you so much for joining us. You can check out Will You Marry Me on channel4.com
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning.
Guest is a world record holder who achieved the seemingly impossible.
Harry Magar lost both his legs in an explosion while serving as a Gurkha in the British Army in Afghanistan in 2010.
And yet, last year, Harry became the first double above-knee amputee to climb Mount Everest.
Earlier this year, Harry was awarded an MBE for his services to disability awareness. And tonight, you can see the emotional moment he accepted the Special Recognition Award at this year's Pride of Britain. Let's take a look.
I grew up in Nepal and always dreamed of climbing Everest. And I really struggled. And I was feeling so bad one day that if I'm gonna drinking this way, I'm gonna die soon. As I said earlier, my life, it's end of my story, but my family will suffer from my legacy. So, okay, I'm gonna live my life for my family. I'm very grateful. Without you, I think I wouldn't be here. Thank you for giving me a second chance to relive my life again.
And Harry joins us. What a wonderful moment that was when they came out on stage and joined you.
It was amazing, and it was a bit overwhelming as well.
And a complete surprise. None of them had let you know that they were going to see you on Monday night? Had any of them sort of let it slip?
No, not at all. I wasn't expecting.
Gosh, the amount of deceit involved in them coming without you knowing is what you need to remember. It was so magical, Harry, on Monday night, being there for us, being surrounded by all of the winners. What was it like for you?
It was a bit overwhelming. I never went to climb Everest for, getting awards.
Sure.
Some of the awards I even didn't know. But I think it shows that anything is possible, even though we are disabled. But also, I think it shows that people with disability also can be proud of family, community, and country.
Can you tell us a little bit about your story and serving in Afghanistan?
We just were sent to Afghanistan. We were supposed to be there for 6 months, but very early in our tour, we were on foot patrol, and I was blown up, and I lost both of my legs. And one of my colleague was just behind me, and him like other people who did amazing job, patched me up and rescued me on time. So I'm here today talking
Because
to you
of them, which was
because
so-
of them.
And their quick thinking and the love that they show towards you.
But it's more complicated than that. I mean, clearly the explosion meant that you had to have double leg amputation above the knee. And then from somebody who had been very fit and very healthy and taken great pride in your role in the Gurkhas to have to deal with the fact you've had that amputation, that was a very dark time for you, wasn't it, Harry? Can you explain a little bit about what you went through learning to live with what had happened to you?
Yeah, it was very difficult. The first thing was I didn't know how powerful is the mind. Another thing I didn't know about disability. And I knew that some of the disabled people were nicknamed from their disability when I was growing up and how they were treated. So I thought that my life is completely finished and I'm going to live my life as like them. And
so growing up in Nepal, I think you were saying that there was a lot of prejudice towards disabled people, and that was your experience. So you were worried you were going to be a burden to your family.
Yes, so I would be a burden to my family, which is a burden of the earth. No,
okay.
So you are pretty much you are useless pretty much, and also. Many people in Nepal, but not just Nepal, later I found that around the world, disability is perceived as a sin of previous life. And I really suffered, I really struggled because of that, because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what can I able to do. So that took me to quite a difficult time, and I was trying to, I was drinking so much to just control my pain and emotion. I was trying to take my life, and some of my friends, in one point, they actually rescued me. But some ways later, I went to do sports, and yeah, I'm here.
Well, I was going to say, what was it that changed your mindset? What was it that made you see the light? You know, what was it?
One day I felt absolutely terrible. I felt really bad. And just looking at my son, he was 2.5 years old, simply, if I die, it's end of my story. But my family will suffer because of me, and my young boy, he will suffer because of my, me, and they have to leave my negative legacy. So even sitting on a wheelchair somewhere, I think if I'm alive, I could able to still advise something to do and say, okay, I don't want to die anymore. No. Then after that, it was completely magical things. And I think life, it changes from very little moment, sometimes even by a word, by a phrase. So, yeah, one moment you want to do something, then you want to do everything.
I mean, and when you say magical, he's magical.
And you want to do everything, but what you did was extraordinary. Climbing Mount Everest, the first person to do it, changing the law to make it even possible. When you look at these pictures, does that feel a little surreal, Harry, just thinking back? Or can you still remember every agonising step?
For me, every step is a struggle. And sometimes I think that, what am I doing? And also, is it worth of doing it? And the answer always comes yes, because I really struggle nearly 2 years just not knowing about disability. So I want to make awareness of disability, that people with disability needs to know that we can do something. But also it's not just us, but we need to make aware to our family, friends, community and authorities so that they don't discriminate and ban us, but support us the right way. So we also can live a happy, successful and meaningful life like others.
Flourish.
Yeah, there's no stopping it.
There is none. Harry, thank you so much for coming in and singing us. It's an amazing thing to see you tonight as well on Pride of Britain. Everyone's going to absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see what happens next as well. The next adventure is just around the corner, I know.
Thanks,
Absolute
Harry.
star.
Thank you very much. Thanks for
Thank you.
Oh, hello. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.
Well, one of those women bravely speaking out is model and TV personality Bianca Gascoigne, who says she was just 16 years old when she was sexually assaulted by Al Fayed while she was working for him. Bianca joins us now to share her story. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. So let's first of all talk about when you first met Mohammed.
Yeah, so I was very, very young. I used to go into the store with my parents. We used to have lunches there. He used to come over, be very personable, very charming, you know, very giving. We'd bring us gifts, obviously Harrods, you know, teddies and everything like that. So I felt very, I felt very safe around him early doors because obviously I saw him as, you know, knowing my parents as well.
And he was with you. And he was a very charismatic man.
Absolutely.
He kind of won you over. Do you think that was a very specific thing that he was trying to do, is essentially win you over?
I don't know at that point, because obviously I don't think he knew that I would come to work for Harrods at that point. But obviously I think he was just doing the charm and, you know, portraying this image that unfortunately he wasn't.
Of course, when you were a child, your dad was at the height of his fame with his football and adored, and your mum and their relationship. So going to Harrods was a very normal thing and they would have been looked after.
Yes.
Cut to when you're 16 and you got a job at Harrods.
Yes.
How did that come about, Bianca?
I left school and I knew I wanted to become a fashion buyer, and I fell in love with Harrods, obviously going there as a young age, and I just thought it was super impressive. So bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, I started as a temp, so I worked all in different departments, and then I ended up in one boutique within Harrods, and I just quickly worked my way up to become a fashion buyer. But then obviously that meant I had to deal with Al Fayed a lot more and take reports to him on a weekly basis.
So what happened in those interactions? Because you're only 16 at the time. I mean, it's a lot of responsibility to have as a 16-year-old anyway, professionally, let alone with this added layer that was about to start happening.
Yeah, it's, you know, first of all, it very much started with, like I say, it was like a bit of grooming. You know, he was always wanting to be there for me, very supportive, told me I was doing a good job. Unfortunately, he would bring up my dad's illness to use that. Because I feel like he must have thought I was quite vulnerable. So he would say he would be the father figure. But then shortly after, it would be like the touching and then obviously leaning in for a kiss. And then, unfortunately, it's very difficult to talk about, but, you know, putting his tongue down my mouth. And to be honest, how I dealt with it was pretty much of an out-of-body experience. Like I was looking into what was going on, but not really, you know, registering what was actually going on with me at the time, because I was super scared as well.
And why do you think you didn't say anything? Is it because, you know, you were 16, you were in this dream job, he was so powerful?
Absolutely, there's a lot of aspects to it, and I just felt, I felt very, very ashamed. I felt dirty, I just kind of pretended like it wasn't happening. I just put it in a box and moved on and was trying to deal with it. I couldn't even I've only just told my mum recently exactly what went down, because I just didn't want to upset any of the family. And it's bizarre why you shut down in that moment when really we should have a voice and we should speak up. And
as you say, you didn't want to tell anyone, so you didn't confide in any of your colleagues as well, who, as we're seeing now, hundreds of women were experiencing similar things.
Yeah, absolutely. It's ever since coming out, I've had so many women message me about their experiences, and it's just so upsetting. It really is. It's crazy how these things got brushed under the carpet, because it was pretty much, I didn't know at 16 going in, but it was pretty much a common knowledge thing that was going on. So it makes me upset to think of my 16-year-old self. It makes me sad that I would go up to the office and probably people would know kind of what was going to happen.
And there were other people that weren't trying to protect you.
Yeah, I guess so. Now I look back.
It escalated as well, didn't it, though, Bianca? Because what you've described there are the initial stages of what he's trying to do. But then you were flying out to Milan for a job. He offered you the Harrods flat to stay in, which was going to be great because that meant you could get to the airport quicker, and then suddenly he turned up that evening.
Yeah, it was totally, obviously, unexpected. I thought, what a nice offer, because I was actually getting up early to go on a flight.
Was there any concern with everything else that you'd experienced from him that there was something else about
That's a very good point. To be honest with you, it was like 20 years ago. I can't remember exact emotions, but I didn't expect him in any shape or form to turn up. I was completely shocked and gobsmacked and didn't really know what to do. You know, I just was like, I'm in his apartment. What do I do? I'm like, no, you're not coming in. So obviously he came in, and that's obviously the worst ordeal that I had to go through, and that's what I've been dealing with for a very long time.
And he physically was trying to force himself onto you and force you to sort of engage with him in some way.
Absolutely, yeah.
Do you know how... It's difficult for you to talk about. Have you, and I'm sure you've thought about it a lot over the last few days as you've been sharing your experience. Do you know how you got out of that scenario?
When he was obviously coming on to me, being very forceful, obviously got my hand and he got his privates out and tried to manoeuvre and push my head down. I think I just kind of wiggled out of the situation. It's all a bit of a blur, to be honest, because it's something that I've like really tried to block out. But I think maybe because I did work closely to people that he knew and where he knew my parents, even like my mum actually went into a meeting once because he offered to buy me an apartment. This was obviously early grooming stages. And she was like, this is a red flag, you know, something's not quite right. And I should have told her at that point, but I think I was just so scared and just, obviously he's was a powerful man.
Yeah, and obviously being 16 as well, you don't have that much life experience yet. How did it affect you afterwards?
Yeah, I think I felt comfort in drinking, so I drank from like a young age because I just wanted to numb out a lot of the emotions that I was feeling. But just doing this, I just really hope that I can be a voice for other women and, you know, any women that haven't come out, because of the amount of messages that I've had to say, I don't feel so isolated anymore, I don't feel alone. And that's, you know, that's just, I feel like I've done a job well done already with that. You know, even if anything doesn't come of it, I want to be able to change my daughter's future, you know, for these big companies, not just to brush all these things under the carpet. You know, I feel like it happens a lot. So if I can do anything to change that, I will.
And you said that you hadn't been able to share it with your mum over the years. You have now since shared this all with your family, and I'm sure they've heard you talking. How has that process been for you?
I'm going to try not to cry, but obviously it's very emotional. And my mum watching the interview, she was very upset.
You know, one of the most important things is that you feel like you can come and share it, because, as you say, there could be people watching at home today that are going through something similar, and understanding that sharing it with their family, as painful as that might be, also helps.
Absolutely. Like, since I've shared my news, the healing that I've done, it's been very empowering, and I really would love to encourage anyone that's been through anything just to even speak to a friend. There's a couple of women that have come forward, well, many, they're saying, oh, you know, you've actually given me the courage. I'm going to speak to my best friend. I'm going to speak to my family. And that's, you know, it's about not holding it in. You know, I felt very ashamed.
Yeah.
But it's not us that should be ashamed. It's obviously the perpetrator and the predator that should be, you know, held accountable for it.
So Harrods have been in touch and said, we are utterly appalled. These are the current owners of Harrods, who, of course, it's very different owners now. We're utterly appalled by the allegations of abuse perpetrated by Mohammed Al-Fayed. We acknowledge that during this time his victims were failed, and for this we sincerely apologise. It has been our priority to settle claims in the quickest way possible, avoiding lengthy legal proceedings for the women involved. While we cannot undo the past, we have been determined to do the right thing as an organisation driven by the values we hold today, while ensuring that such behaviour can never be repeated in the future. I wonder how you feel you will get some sort of justice. We know that Mohammed Al-Fayed, of course, isn't here to answer all of these claims.
I think for me, it's just hopefully in future, like especially for my daughter's generation, for big companies to really, you know, focus on these things that can go down when someone so powerful is in charge and he can't get away with it and it gets brushed under the carpet. And just for more women to come forward and find their voice and to know that, you know, it's not us that should be ashamed.
Yeah, absolutely. Protect the future generations,
absolutely,
essentially. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Bianca. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Bianca.
If you've been affected by anything we've discussed, all the helplines you need are available on our website and on our This Morning. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out, and we'll see you in the morning.
We really are.
Since 1999, Pride of Britain has celebrated the truly extraordinary achievements of people of all ages, from children of courage to life-saving emergency workers and people who make the world a better place in their local community.
So it's in its 25th year now. The awards took place on Monday evening. Amongst the winners was 8-year-old Florrie Bark, whose unwavering positivity and bravery as she awaits a lung transplant morning has seen her honoured with a Child of Courage award.
Please welcome the one and only Florrie Bark.
Please consider becoming a bone marrow and organ donor, as well as giving blood. It saved mine and so many of my friends' lives. It could save many more. I am doing this for all of the children with cancer that can't be here tonight. Have happy days. Thank you.
Absolute privilege and honour to award you the Pride of Britain.
And we're joined by Florrie and her parents, Andrew and Stacey, and Pride of Britain host Carol Vorderman this morning. Guys, I have to say, what a night. What
Incredible, wasn't it?
Just incredible.
Can we just have a moment? Because 25 years you've been doing this, Carol Vorderman, you're still crying. It's an amazing thing.
She does it to me.
Yeah.
What's so remarkable, Florrie, about you, and we'll hear your story tomorrow night, but also now, it's just that the stuff you do is about the other children, and it's just... Oh, it's just wonderful.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm having a moment.
No, you're right, Carol. I actually had... So my little boy, Milo, is 8, same age as Florrie. And I had a chat to him about Florrie last night as we were having our baked potatoes and saying how amazing you were. And you're absolutely right. What a positive human being.
You are extraordinary, Mrs. And she's very persuasive.
Florrie, tell us what the night was like for you, because you've been in on this morning and we'd spoken and you'd met Alison and Joel when you came in. But what was Monday like?
Monday, this week.
Yes, this week. Probably a good one to start. And then we'll do next week in a minute. What was Monday night at the Pride of Britain like?
It was really fun. I loved getting the award and seeing Joel again.
Yeah. He was so excited to see you, of course. But you went to visit him at the Masked Singer too, didn't you?
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was really fun. I loved hearing the music and I got to go backstage.
Backstage too.
Did you get to meet everybody?
I didn't get to meet the people in the costumes.
That's secret, though. Secrets. You've got to keep that secret, haven't you?
I can't tell you who's wearing the costume. I can't tell you what costumes there are.
OK.
So I got to see some of the costumes.
Which was amazing. Because when you got told that you won a Pride of Britain, well, you're a big fan of music and singers.
Yeah.
That was really special too, wasn't it? Who did you meet and who told you about your prize and your award?
I met Perry from Little Mix.
Oh, my days! How special is Perry, by the way?
She's so cool.
So
She's
cool.
one of my favourite singers.
And this was the most wonderful way of doing it, because you thought you were just watching a video.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
Yeah. She asked me if she could see me.
And did that seem a little strange? Because you're thinking,
Yeah, I was like, I'm watching a music video. Then she just came out of the TV, it looked like. She's like, hello. Where did she come from?
And now she's your best friend.
Yeah, she's my best friend now.
What can you say about that? And what about the Prime Minister? You met the Prime Minister the other day too, didn't you?
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was really fun. I said to him,
Yeah.
I'm going to be the new Prime Minister. I'm going to take over.
I would vote for you.
We all would.
Sure.
My new friend that I met at Pride of Britain, he was like, give my dad a new paycheck.
Oh.
Give my dad some more money.
That was to the Prime Minister as well. That was little Jacob.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jacob the pilot.
Yeah,
I think he's on Good Morning Britain tomorrow, isn't he, Jacob?
His dad's a paramedic.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you all gave the Prime Minister quite a hard time. A little.
Excellent. She can. She's a superstar. But you're also raising lots of money for your charity as well. Tell me about your charity. What's it called?
It's called Be More Fab. It stands for Florence Save Buck. My initials. It's right there.
Yeah.
And what does it do, your charity?
My charity helps other children like me.
Yeah.
And when you're missing out on school, like I am, when we are big enough, we got to get some teachers, and now we have enough money to get free teachers for our charity because of how much we raised the other night.
Wow.
That's brilliant. 'Cause
And
We
And
raised loads of money, didn't we?
those teachers will be able to go into the hospitals and help with the children and give them some education and stuff.
And sometimes even at home.
Even at
Yeah,
home
so
too.
providing tuition at home for children that are off, but they can't go attend school because their immune systems are too compromised, or they're still having treatment. So to be able to provide online tuition and some tuition in the homes for those children, as well as then support in schools by going in to talk through the challenges of having a child that's diagnosed with cancer, actually being able to explain to a group of... So, for example, when Florence was first diagnosed and she was 5, and they had to tell a group of Year 1 children what cancer is, why, and so that's a really difficult thing for a school. So actually we want to be able to provide that support with schools so we can go in, do workshops, assemblies, be able to explain it in a child-friendly way, which is what Florence has done, recorded lots of videos explaining what cancer is so that children it seems a little bit more relatable.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons we've all got to know you so well, because you've got such a massive online following. You're an influencer, Florence, aren't you? Like all the superstars. Carol, it's always an extraordinarily special evening.
It really, I mean, it really, really is, isn't it?
And but 25 years, I mean, we talked about Peter Willis, of course, your great friend whose idea with you was the Pride of Britain, who's sadly not with us.
Yeah.
And as a celebration of the silver anniversary of Pride of Britain, it was one of the best I've been to.
Was it, Ben?
Yeah,
Did
it
you
really
feel
was.
That? I felt that. And the wonderful thing about Pride of Britain is not only these superstars, as you rightly identify, Florrie, but we also, you know, give awards, for instance, to the campaigners about the infected blood scandal, and we raise issues which are incredibly important, politically and otherwise. And they have their opportunity to say to everybody and to know that they are recognised, that we see them when they have fought for 30, 40 years for truth. So all sorts of incredible people. I mean, lots of happy moments. It's a celebration, isn't it, Florrie?
Yeah, everyone, had really nice stories. Everyone was so nice.
Yeah.
That we all became friends.
Yeah. And I say that we have our winners' dinner, don't we, the night before, where we go and we meet everyone. And everybody meets the other winners.
Yeah.
Did you find that was good, Andrea?
It was lovely, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah. And you see the other people. So when you go into the room, it's like a team.
Exactly. We felt like that settled everyone's nerves massively, and I think just everybody then being in it together and just hearing other people's stories was the most inspiring night, sitting here and then
Because there's
being
a
able
thing,
to
isn't there?
talk to each
Because
other.
Florrie takes all this stuff in her stride, but Andrew and Stacey, I mean, going down the red carpet can be quite an intimidating... It's intimidating for us doing it.
Yes.
But for you guys, how did you feel getting ready and going and doing it?
It felt really surreal, but we were just concentrating on Florence and Freddie and making sure they were OK, and Florence absolutely thrived on that red carpet.
Yeah, she did.
Freddie seemed a bit shell-shocked at some stages, but he loved it too, so...
So, Florrie, what was your favourite moment of the whole night? If you had to pick one.
I loved meeting everybody and, meeting the other winners, speaking to them and meeting some of the other people. I loved meeting the dance group, Diversity.
Yes.
Now
Yes,
they're
they're
going
gonna
to do
be here.
something. They're going to do something with our charity. They're going to do a dance workshop.
Amazing.
It's gonna be so fun. They've invited us to go to
I know.
the place.
Oh, you'll love it.
It was very funny. Ash said to Florrie the night before, he said, well, I've got, 1.8 million followers on TikTok. Is that enough? She went, what about Perry? He said, well, he's about 2.5. It was like, Ash.
She definitely knows how to work a room.
She
for
does.
sure.
Takes no prisoners, do you,
Quite
Florrie?
right, too.
No. Get that message out.
And now then, Florrie, on your rider, Kat was talking to you the other night, and she was saying, what would you like in your dressing room?
I remember it was fruit and vegetables, especially strawberries, and Sour Patch apples, the ones that are really sour that make you close
Do
your eyes.
you love those sweets that sort of really make you wince?
Well, it doesn't do that to me. I just love
You just
Santa.
love it. Well, look, we've got one last present that we're doing to Trinity Crescent, which we thought our boys love these.
Is this the one you wanted?
Do you like
Are
these?
these ones good?
They are gluten-free. We
Are they?
They are gluten-free as well.
Oh, I'm into those.
Very simple. It's actually called toxic waste. So if you don't wince eating these, I will be super impressed. But our boys love them. I know your boys love them as well. Florrie, thank you for being so special, being fab.
Thank you.
Can't wait to see what happens as well, because you announced the total from what we raised the other night for your charity, but also once the show goes out on Thursday night.
Absolutely.
Everyone else will
QR
get
code straight to the GoFundMe.
I wonder how much we're going to have then.
You'll be able to wake up Friday morning and find out.
Yeah, be sweet. Thank you, Flora.
Thank you all for coming in.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Carol, lovely to see you.
Thank you.
What are we going to do now?
Well, I don't know. Should we just thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning. It's coming up to 10:20. Bonfire night is approaching. Many of us will, of course, be enjoying firework displays up and down the country.
But thousands of people go to A&E with firework-related injuries each year. Fireworks can pose a real risk to life when they aren't used properly.
Now, our next guest knows only too well about this after his elderly mum tragically died when 2 teenage boys threw a firework through her letterbox as a prank.
Alan Smith joins us now to share his story. Good morning, Alan.
Morning, Alan.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Can we go back to the night of the event and what happened exactly?
Yeah, so I was in bed waiting to get up for work the next day, and I got a knock on the door from my wife, Lisa. She said, "Al, your mum's house is on fire." And I literally dashed round, phoned my brothers and sisters and my daughters, and we all met round my mum's house, literally 100, 200 yards from where we live.
Because you all basically live in the same street. Your mum's Josephine, she was 88 years old.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, we all live within a few hundred yards. My older sister, Linda, she lives slightly further away, but she dashed down and we was all at the scene that evening, yeah.
By the time you got there, Alan, how bad was the fire?
It was smoke, mainly. It was just smouldering. The fire had been burning for a good hour and a half, or smouldering for a good hour and a half before we arrived. And we wasn't really aware of any fire at the time, apart from the fire brigade trying to break the door down. I just remember that I had my key in my hand for the door and thinking, if I'd got there 10 minutes earlier, maybe I could have opened the door rather than the fire brigade trying to smash the door in.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what had caused the fire? Let's go back to that. Because your mum didn't know the youths that put the fireworks through the letterbox. It was completely random.
Yeah, no, not at all. She had nobody had any malice against her at all.
No.
It was just 2 silly boys. I think they picked on a house that was blacked out,
Right.
and 2 silly boys just put a firework through a door. I think, to be fair, they thought they were just going to be causing mischief.
Yeah.
You know.
But mischief suddenly became tragedy.
Yeah.
She didn't have a smoke alarm, did she, as well? Which is one of the things that I'm sure you've all gone over in your heads.
Absolutely. The irony was that the last conversation I had with her, we were sitting there watching Tipping Point, ironically, and I was sorting out a house insurance just literally the day before, and my daughter Lucy said, "Gran, have you got any smoke alarms?" And I said, "No, I'll order you some on Amazon," and I was going to order them the next day. Yeah.
It's the circumstances around this, like you say, 2 lads that just wanted to cause mischief, and then it ends with the tragedy of you losing your mum through, smoke inhalation. There was some footage that was shown in the court case, which led to the 2 young men being charged with manslaughter. And it's quite disturbing, this footage, because what is apparent is that they had set about to try and cause some trouble with these fireworks. We're going to show you this footage from the shop of them buying the fireworks. It is not easy to watch, and certainly it can't be for you, Alan, but I think it's important to get some context of what is happening at this time of year with the young lads and young people who think they're just going to have a bit of fun, but how it can suddenly turn to tragedy. This is what happened.
No, I want something that's going to go firing quick. Well, this is going to go back. I'm trying to get fireworks. I want to let some off at people. Light it and then destroy it, basically. You just throw it, hold it, throw it, do your light with it. Well, ones are the good ones to let off at people. They're not going to do damage, but like... They're not going to do damage. I'm not going to tell you can let off at people. But they're going to fly off and they're going to go bang.
How do you feel watching that?
It makes me really angry.
Yeah.
It makes me really angry. The 2 lads that that did what they did were just silly boys. But the guy in the footage there, Mark Vardy, he's got a suspended sentence for selling the fireworks. He was a grown adult, and he 40-odd years of experience apparently selling fireworks. And yet, for £8.99, that seemed to be more that's important to him than somebody's life, you know.
Sorry, Kat. Or even saying, lads.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
These are dangerous items. They're not for shooting at people or causing mischief. If I'm hearing you're going to do something like that...
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
I mean, a guy with as much experience in selling fireworks as he had, he should have done it. He was a big guy. He was my size. He could have easily have got those boys out of that shop. But he chose not to. And,
think about the consequences of something were to go
and
wrong.
as a family, I think it's that aspect of all of this that makes us more angry, you know.
Yes.
Personally.
And the people supplying them need to take responsibility for it too. What would you like to see happen, Alan? How would you like to see the changes made?
I would like to see fireworks not be available on the high street anymore. I don't want to see a ban from fireworks. People enjoy fireworks, and I think they should be entitled to still. But you shouldn't be able to buy them so easily on the high street or in a supermarket. Maybe out-of-town shopping centres or certain outlets, specific outlets.
Specific suppliers.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. You shouldn't be able to go and buy a bag of chips, pint of milk, and a banger to go and kill somebody with.
No.
And one of the things that you've suggested as well, which is quite interesting, it would be interesting to get our viewers' thoughts on this, is a minimum spend.
Yeah, I mean, when I sorted this petition out initially, it was a bit impulsive. I was just trying to things that would stop something similar happening to somebody else at a minimum spend, so you couldn't buy individual fireworks anymore. So the idea being you could only buy display boxes, maybe, or something like that.
So minimum spend of about £50.
£50,
because
maybe.
then you know it's probably going to be a responsible adult because £50 is a significant amount of money.
In theory, and theoretically, you're not going to be able to buy. You're not going to go out and buy £50 worth of bangers that are going to go and do damage. You're going to be buying display fireworks that you can enjoy in the family, in the garden with your family.
Yeah.
That's the theory.
And then the age as well, you want to make it 21.
I was thinking about that. You know, I have been talking about that, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. I changed it recently to maybe a compulsory challenge 25, so there was no doubt of anybody under 18 buying fireworks.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's sensible.
So if you appear to be under 25, you have to show some
You have to show to identify
you can get
that you
them if
are
you're
over
over
18.
18.
That would protect retailers and customers alike.
You've set up a petition.
I have.
To try and get as many signatures. What's the plan with the petition, Alan?
Get as many signatures as possible and then take it to Parliament is the plan.
And if you get to, how many do you need to get ideally?
Ideally over 100,000, I think, you know, but the more the merrier, so hopefully we can get some signatures from today. And
how many have you got so far?
57,000, I think, at the moment, but we got most of those in the first few weeks. So,
right.
You know, hopefully we're going some more momentum.
And where can people find the petition?
It's online.
Is it change.org?
Change.org, Justice for Josephine. That's what I've set it up as. So there is a QR code and other things available.
Yeah.
But I'm on Facebook as well, Alan Smith on Facebook. So
It's not to stop people enjoying them. It's just for
No,
fireworks to be used responsibly and also for everybody to understand just how dangerous. I mean, even things like sparklers are 20 times hotter than boiling water.
Absolutely.
So everybody's just got to be very careful with them.
Yeah.
How are you all coping now without your mum, Alan?
It's coming up to the anniversary and it's very difficult. We're all struggling. Both my sisters, my wife, my kids, you know, my dad. We're all struggling. We're coping, but this time of year is very difficult for all of us.
I bet it is.
Yeah, it is.
Very triggering as well with everybody going out because, like you say, you don't want families to stop enjoying this time of year.
Not
But
at all.
the consequence if things go wrong can be tragic.
I see people messing around with fireworks. It makes me quite angry and I have to try and keep a lid on that.
Yeah.
What would you like to say to anybody who's planning or anybody who's got fireworks, you know, as the parties are coming up?
I think the majority of people are safe and sensible. Just continue to be safe and sensible. Don't do anything silly, you know. Respect other people. Respect is a word that's missing from society these days, isn't it?
Yeah.
And just respect other people, you know. Don't, you know, you can't have animals being terrorised and people being terrorised by these things, you know. Just respect other people. It's not difficult, is it? Not a lot to ask.
No.
Alan, thank you for coming in and telling us a little bit about your mum. I'm sorry for your loss, but hopefully, like you say, if enough people sign the petition and you can gather a little bit of information and momentum, it could change some of those, the reasons that happened in the first place.
OK.
Thanks for joining.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out, and we'll see you in the morning.
That users of the revolutionary generation of new weight loss drugs have reported feeling the same sense of judgment.
But why should people using a drug that makes them healthier ever be ashamed of taking it. Two this morning viewers who have no time for that are Sheila Hogan and Sarah LeBrock, and they both join us now. Good morning,
Good morning,
ladies.
both of you.
Can I start off by saying you both look fabulous?
Thank you very much.
Very much so. Sheila, let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about your story and your relationship with food.
Yeah, so I have, for most of my adult life, yo-yoed with 6 stone on, 6 stone off.
Wow.
And I've probably done that about 4 or 5 times. I've tried every diet known to man and woman. And, yeah, nothing seemed to work. And last year, I was approaching my 60th birthday in January this year, and I thought, and I'd piled it all back on after losing it during lockdown. And I thought, and I'd had tests at the doctors, I was pre-diabetic, I was having lots of joint pain in my knees, I had lots of digestive problems. And I just thought, this is ridiculous. I have to do something different, and I have to do this once and for all for the rest of my life. I'm approaching 60, I can't continue to pile it all on, take it up.
Can I ask a question? Sorry to interrupt. When you lost all that weight and the effort and the discipline that it took to lose the 6 stone that you're going off and on, did you ever understand why you couldn't then maintain that and why it suddenly piled back on? Did it creep up on you? What was that?
Yeah, there seems to be, like, there's a... I mean, the research says that we've all got, like, a set point in terms of where your weight naturally sits.
Right.
And my set point was, obviously, it had never got reset to the lower weight.
Right.
So it
So it
was
just gradually
naturally just creeping back up. And, you know, I mean, I've got friends that have got, you know, a half a stone set point. So they might put half a stone on and then think, right, I've got to get it off. And that's the thing. Whereas mine was 6 stone before I even got to, you know, I've got to do this again. And there's a lot of emotion around, around that as well.
So you're approaching your 60th and you think, right, I've got to do something now.
Yeah.
And that's when you decided you were going to try or investigate some of the weight loss jabs.
Yes, yes. I mean, I do follow Oprah Winfrey. I think she's fabulous. And I'd read that she had been taking the medication and it had done well for her. I also had some diabetic friends who, as a side effect of taking it for their diabetes, had actually lost lots of weight and were really, you know, healthy and fit with it. And so that's when I started to do the research, and I thought, do you know what, I think I mean, obviously there are risks with any medication, but I mean, I looked into it for me personally, and I felt, do you know what, the risks associated with it are far less than if I just carry on this obese journey.
So what did you do? Where did you find it? Because you didn't get your jabs on the NHS.
No, I didn't.
No.
I actually joined a programme called Second Nature.
OK.
And the reason why I chose them is because they were backed by the NHS, and they had a whole programme with a medical support team, digital coaches, etc. And you know, obviously, if you're putting something into your body, you want to be confident that it's bona fide, it's not, you know, and it's what you expect.
So it's one of the companies online that is approved to give out these drugs. You've got the pen that you bring. This is how you administer the jab.
Yes.
Can you explain a little bit about that process and also the difference? Because as Kat was saying, you look fabulous. How much weight you've lost, what that journey's been like?
Yeah. I mean, the process is you just inject the dose once weekly.
Just once a week?
Once a week.
Okay.
It's a really small needle. I don't have a needle with me, but this is the pen.
Yeah.
And the needle just goes onto the end. Actually, there is one there.
Yeah,
there is
So
one
it's
there.
a tiny little needle.
Yeah, a tiny little
Let me
needle.
just hold that a sec, 'cause this might be a bit easier. If I hold that really
Oh,
still,
yeah,
can
I
you see
can
how
see it now.
tiny the needle is? I'm not sure if you can see it. Can you see it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just about. It's a tiny little needle.
And so you just administer that into your thigh?
You can, you can put it in your thigh, in your tummy, or in your arm. I found that the best place for me was in the back of my arm, and I alternate the arm on a, you know, week by week.
And let's have a look at this. Is the difference. How much weight have you lost, Sheila?
I've lost 5 stone 11 as it stands.
In how
right
many
now.
months?
In 14 months. I started last August on the medication.
And my question is, how does it make you feel? Do you just not feel hungry anymore?
Yeah, you just don't feel hungry. I mean, initially, until your body gets used to the medication, there was nausea.
Right.
But that soon wore off.
Yeah.
And then it's just... And the reason why I went for this was because I needed to eat with normal food. I mean, I've done things before where you use food packs and drinks and shakes and all that kind of thing. And I thought, no, that is not sustainable long term. It has to be real food that I do this with.
Yeah.
So, Sarah, you've been listening to Sheila. I'd imagine that mirrors a lot your experience as well. Tell us a little bit, as you know, of your weight experience and weight loss journey.
Yeah, so from a dietary experience, the same. I've kind of tried every diet that was going. So any new one that came along, I was like, I need to try it. And I'd try it and I would lose weight. I actually went kind of one step further in the fact that I went on a weight loss TV show about 12 years ago.
Did you? Which one, can I ask?
It was called Fat the Fight of My Life and it was on Sky Living.
Yeah.
And this is where I was given a personal trainer for 2 hours a day, for 5 days a week, and then changed my diet. So during that time, they filmed me for about 9 months and I lost 8.5 stone in that period.
Goodness me.
And I
So
went from doing like no exercise to doing an Olympic distance triathlon at the end of the program. So
Whoa.
pretty,
So similarly, Sheila, you lost all that weight.
Yes.
You worked so hard to do it. What happened after that?
Well, it was after the show finished and I continued training really hard because I'd enjoyed the exercise element and I thought, let's keep this going, that my weight started coming back on and I was a bit like, what's going on here? Because I'm doing everything everyone is telling me. I'm eating less, I'm moving more. So I started digging into the science because I'm a scientist by background. And so I wanted to understand why this was happening because I wasn't just going to accept it was just a moral failing of me.
Yes.
Like I felt like there was more to this. So I looked into the science and like Sheila talked about the set point theory, I understood about that and metabolic adaptation, which is where your body starts fighting to get you back to that heaviest weight. But it starts creating, like, making you feel hungry, craving certain foods, making you feel cold, so you eat to get warm. Like, it does crazy physiological things that you can't control. And that kind of blew my mind. And I was like, actually, this isn't actually my fault. There's like lots going on here that I can't control.
So then the idea for you about using one of these weight loss jabs seemed like an interesting sort of opportunity.
Yeah, because it's working on the physiological element of obesity, which we've never been able to do before. So diet and exercise, you know, yes, you know, calories in, calories out, you know, that's the physics side of things. But when there's a hormonal imbalance going on in your body, it isn't that simple. And so what the medication does is regulate that hormonal imbalance in the gut and also in the hypothalamus in the brain. So it stops you kind of feeling as hungry, it makes you feel full quicker, and it stops you craving certain foods as well. So it literally has changed my whole kind of feeling around food.
So, Sarah, how did you get hold of the medication? Because I know it's quite often a postcode lottery as to whether you can get access to the medication under the NHS or not. So how did you access it and how did you do it?
Yeah, so I tried through the NHS and didn't have any success. And so I have got mine from an online pharmacy called Simple Online Pharmacy. And I chose them because they offer a lot of support around it. So they've got an app that you can use that kind of talks you through nutrition, psychological support, but also physical kind of, you know, getting you active kind of thing. And they're always there at the end of the phone if you need to speak to someone or kind of get some support. So that's kind of why I went with them.
And can we ask how much you've lost in the time frame as well?
So I've lost around 6 stone, similar kind of time frame to Sheila. So about 14 months as well,
And how are you feeling about the ongoing journey? Because you've done some dramatic weight loss with exercise and diet, which we're all told is the answer. What about the prospect of maybe stopping the injections, or are you on the injections forever now?
Realistically, you're going to be on the injections forever because obesity is a chronic condition and this is what people can't seem to understand. So therefore, it needs chronic treatment forever. So at the moment, we keep treating it with acute solutions, so like 3-month programs. But you wouldn't do that with hypertension, you wouldn't do that with diabetes, you wouldn't do that with asthma. So why are we doing it with obesity? So yeah, fundamentally, people will be on these medications or a version of the medications forever, to enable us to kind of keep that weight loss down. I mean, I still want to lose more weight, but I know for Sheila, she was saying that she wants to kind of like maintain her weight loss now, and so, but we know that we'll probably need to be on something.
And you're comfortable with that, though, Sheila, long term, about taking the medication and not worried about what that feels like?
Yeah, I mean, the research is such that, I mean, it reduces the risk of about 20 different cancers, of heart disease, of stroke, etc. So the actual benefits of taking it, are far greater than just the weight.
I mean, the one thing is the cost of it. And so if you are going to continue to take this for the foreseeable future, if not forever, have you thought about the cost of it? How much has it cost you to get to this point?
Oh, gosh, I don't know, cumulative.
How much is it a month?
You're between £150 and £200, roughly, depending on what dose that you're on. But it can vary depending on which provider that you use. But this is why the NHS needs to make this accessible to people. And we know that the government this week have been speaking about, making it more accessible for certain people, etc. And I really encourage that, because we do need to, support people to get healthier and get access to these treatments, for sure.
Well, ladies, thank you for coming on and chatting about it, actually, because there shouldn't be a stigma with any of this. You're so eloquent on the subject as well, Sarah. Thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Really great to have you share your story.
Welcome. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out, and we'll see you in the morning. Today, proposals are to be presented in Parliament which aim to give terminally ill people in England and Wales the right to choose to end their own life.
There are arguments on both sides of the debate, of course, but our next guest, Lottie Clark, is one of the many calling for the assisted dying bill to be passed. In 2021, Lottie's husband, James, was diagnosed with motor neuron disease at the age of just 42. And 6 months ago, he made the agonising decision to travel to Switzerland and end his own life at Dignitas.
But sadly, Lottie and her family couldn't accompany James or even FaceTime him to say goodbye, as under current laws, this would place them at risk of prosecution and possibly prison.
Well, Lottie is now hoping that James's story will help the UK reconsider its stance on assisted dying, and we are really pleased that you could come along and speak to us today, Lottie.
Thank you so much.
It's a very bittersweet moment in many ways, because we know that James was tasked you with campaigning to try and help other people not end up in the situation that you and your family were so sadly forced into.
Yeah.
Can you just, before we get into all of that, though, can you tell us a little bit about James?
Yes, I can, of course. He was very dynamic, very funny, a great family man, and outrageously handsome. Really good looking. Used to turn heads. Even into his 40s, he was a fine wine. Got better with age.
How did you meet?
We met through work, a company, an estate agency who had little yellow and green minis, remain nameless, on a work trip to America in 2003.
Excellent,
yeah.
excellent. And then when did he start to notice, because it was little things that were initially kind of a signal.
That's right.
When did he start to notice, and what did he notice?
So he always said I was behind him in his sort of journey, in that he'd noticed the symptoms long before I had.
Yeah.
And he kept saying to me, I'm really struggling to hold this pan, and my voice is quite strange. And I said, you're fine, you're just tired, you're stressed. And that was about February 21. It then took quite a few months of back and forth to doctors. Me still saying it was stress, until finally we'd had a night out with friends. He came back and I couldn't understand a word he was saying. I said, how much have you had to drink?
Yeah.
He said, I've had 2 gin and tonics. And I said, OK, this is serious. There's a problem here, we need to get it sorted. And that was when I realised it was...
And was it December that you finally got of that year?
Exactly.
So the February you first sort of really started talking about it, but the December you finally got this call to say he's got motor neuron disease.
Yeah.
And what did you know about motor neuron disease, and what's that moment like?
The Theory of Everything, the film with Stephen Hawking, about Stephen Hawking. That was the only thing I knew about it. James, by this point, has convinced himself he had it. So again, I was behind on that. Yeah. So it was a horrific shock. It was. I was getting ready to go to one of the kids' carol concerts at school, and in honesty, Ben, I don't really remember much about that day, apart from that phone call.
I'm sure you don't. And then what was the prognosis? What was the time span on it? What was the advice of the doctors? What was the next step?
So it's a very underfunded, sadly, disease. Yet 1 in 300 people are diagnosed with it. And we were told by the neurologist, James was a facts man and a numbers man, and he said, how long have I got? I need to know. And the neurologist said to him, you've got 2 years. Go and do what you can in those 2 years.
That's such a short... Because you can sometimes think... You just mentioned the film. You think of the lifespan being longer than that.
But also, Kat, he walked into that office. He was still, to the outsider, he looked completely normal. He was a great-looking guy. You know, it was only people knew him very, very well that would notice these small things.
And, of course, he's not only your husband and the love of your life, but he's also the dad to 3 kids of different in ages. How did you manage that diagnosis with the children, Lottie?
So we had to come to terms with it ourselves first, and it was very much a grieving process. Luckily, we were hit by COVID over that Christmas, so it was a smoke screen to hide behind for the children. And we had final diagnosis in the February. And so we told the other 2 then. But I still had great hope.
There were trials, there was a lot that we felt could be done in that time, and James wasn't going to sit back, he was going to fight, and that's what we did.
Because you've got two older ones, 16 and 15, and then you've got a little one
That's right.
who's 8.
The narrative to the little one was quite different, because obviously back then she was 5. But it was a journey that we went on with James. He didn't just suddenly become ill and disabled. It was I guess, a gradual descent into that. So we lived alongside him throughout that. It wasn't a shock.
But it was almost... it was a very quick thing when he decided that actually he didn't want to be imprisoned by this disease and he didn't want to be imprisoned by his body. And he made that call pretty early on, didn't he?
So on the train back from London, one of my biggest regrets, apart from not being able to travel with him to Switzerland, was not being with him when he received that news. And on the way back on the train, he made the initial inquiries to sign up to Dignitas.
So which I find, you know, he was absolutely, this is absolutely what he wanted to do.
He won at everything in life, and he felt strongly that he was going to take control of this at a point when he was ready to do that, and no one else was going to tell him how that should be done. It was his right.
So can you explain where the current law sits? And you said the difficulty for you and the family was you couldn't go to Switzerland with him because you could have faced prosecution.
So it carries a penalty of 14 years imprisonment. I was in absolute denial when he first told me that that was his plan. And it took me a long, long time. He would gently feed me little nuggets. But it took me a long time to understand that actually he wasn't going to waver on this. This was his intention. And we talked about it then long and hard and seriously. It was awful, but I did come to the understanding that it was what was right for him, and actually he was doing it for our family as well. But when we sought legal advice, the answer was, you can't risk going and being, you know, arrested on your return, and those children having no mother and no father.
But the really devastating thing, Lottie, is that's based on an act that was formed in 1961.
Yeah.
I mean, this is something that actually James chose and wanted to do, but this meant that you couldn't accompany him at any stage in the proceedings.
You couldn't even FaceTime him?
No.
No, so we FaceTimed when he got to Switzerland. He travelled out there with people that will remain nameless to protect them.
For sure.
And he FaceTimed me when he was able, with help, obviously. But when he got to the clinic, our hope was that we would be together for those final moments, and he was told then that he wasn't able to do that.
Can't imagine what that's like, saying goodbye to him from the front door when he went.
That was the hardest part. That was the hardest part. I think to have your children holding onto you and hugging you and kissing you goodbye, and the little one holding onto his neck and saying, "But Daddy, you're not going to see me start my new school." If he'd been able to have the right to assisted dying here in the UK, he would have had a few more weeks with us.
Yes.
And it wouldn't have had to have... He had to travel before, well, whilst he was still able to travel. And that window was closing.
It is a very sensitive subject, this, of course, and you've lived it from your side of the experience in which you were robbed of the last few weeks or months of your husband's life because he had made this choice and he wanted to go to Switzerland to protect you all. You couldn't go with him. People like the Archbishop of Canterbury and lots of campaigners are saying the real concern with this assisted dying bill is protection of the vulnerable. That if this comes in, how can we be sure that those people who are vulnerable are going to be protected by this law and not feel like they are obliged to have to end their own lives?
Yeah.
What do you say to those people?
To that, I say, I understand that, and it's something that really has to be thought about and it has to be monitored. But we are archaic in our views. This has been happening in other countries for a very long time, and I don't like to use the word successfully, but it has been working in Oregon, in Switzerland, in many countries for many years without huge repercussions on this for the vulnerable. And I think if the safeguarding is put in place here, then yes, it can be achieved.
I also think it's not going away either. There is research that's been done where it's, you know, the number of UK citizens going to Dignitas is up 24% this year. This isn't something that's going to go away either.
No. And I can only speak on behalf of James and my family and our close friends
and the experience we've had. But it should be a right to... We're not shortening his life. He was shortening his death, and they were Esther Ranson's words, and they're brilliant words. And it should be his right to do that. He was terminally diagnosed. He wasn't going to get better. And it was his right to decide when the time was to go. And he also didn't want his children remembering him in that state.
Yeah, that's what Esther said.
You've spoken so eloquently, and I can imagine it's still so raw for you and the children. How are you all as a family coping?
We're good. We're OK. Yeah, I mean, we have bad days, of course we do. We're quite a unit now. We had an incredible network of people. I'm lucky to live in an area where people came together to fundraise, and James raised over £1 million thanks to them and our community. So I am wrapped up. We are wrapped up as a family. And it's, you know, his legacy was the £1 million. His legacy again now is me sitting here trying to make some change and really trying to stop anybody else having to go through what we've been through.
He raised the money for the My Name is Doddy Foundation for Doddy Weir, who I knew really well and worked with plenty of times before Doddy got his diagnosis, and was such a champion for MND and MND sufferers as well. And that is an enormous amount of money, like you're saying, support from your friends and family. Lottie, thank you for coming in and sharing your story.
You've been absolutely amazing. You're so brave and so eloquent.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
The tears will flow later, but thanks, guys.
Thank you
Big
very
hugs
much
to all the
for having
kids as
me,
well.
Lottie. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out, and we'll see you in the morning.